beautiful friend, Mary Brandt, on the line, but wanted to make sure that everybody's kind of in. There's one person still joining, but we'll wait for that person joined. That's great. So we're at 4:02. Welcome to the LinkedIn Mastery Workshop. Again, love to see everybody's faces here. I wanted to just quickly share my screen so you know this beautiful person who's in front of you, not me, but my friend. This is the LinkedIn Mastery Workshop of the Brink SBDC. And the thought behind it is that I work on LinkedIn all the time. I'm going to talk about real estate in LinkedIn and make sure that by the end, you know the do's and don'ts of somebody who uses it a lot. But I brought my guru, my awesome friend, and Mary Fane Brandt, that is just the expert at LinkedIn, from the depth of LinkedIn to the insights and what's up and coming. And I said, can you give my people 15 minutes of your time during the time that we have together? She goes, yes. She has a commitment later on, so she's going to do 15 minutes of just what are the things that she sees that are just amazing for all of you here. And then we'll continue with the real estate do's and don'ts with me. So Mary, take it away.
Oh, well, that's quick. Well, thank you so much, Sylvia, for asking me. You know, I love you and the work you do. So whenever you say, can you come talk? I'm always like, sure. So hello, people. Nice to see you all. Is everyone in San Diego, Sylvia, or is this a diverse group from everywhere?
Mostly San Diego. It's the Brink SBDC that's in San Diego. And
Gotcha.
also Mary's not too far away from Arizona.
Well,
she used to be in San Diego,
yeah.
And she does this for a living. So she knows this.
Yeah, well, welcome everyone. So we've got 15 minutes. Do you guys all consider yourself an expert on LinkedIn? And you can, no? Okay. Just taking the pulse here. Who has a profile on LinkedIn already? Okay. That's a good start. Okay. So where do I start? Oh, Sylvia, we need an hour. Okay, let's go over some basics, you guys. So a couple things that I see is someone creates a LinkedIn profile, maybe even just a year ago, and they never go back in and edit or update anything. And or even 2 years ago. So maybe you set your profile up and you were in a different position, you had a different company, wherever you're at in your career or business path. What I see happen is people don't go in and update that. And that can be from anything from a headshot, which is critical because when you send those connection requests out, right, having your settings, your profile settings so that people can see your headshot, it increases your acceptance rate for connection requests by 53%. So a lot of people don't even know that they have the setting off. So I suggest that you all set some time aside and go through your LinkedIn settings because you know what? They change. And speaking of that, I got to tell you one thing that really rubs my hide is that LinkedIn, if I know Sylvia probably saw this. So LinkedIn has an opt-in on their settings that allows them to use your content to train their AI. Now, I am a certified AI consultant. I am all about AI, but LinkedIn does not get to use my content for free. They can pay me, right? So why I'm bringing that up is because things go on in the back over here on LinkedIn, and the average person will never know unless you're connected with people that are LinkedIn trainers and speakers. So after this call or tomorrow, block off some time, go through the settings, make sure your profile photo is showing, make sure that you opt out of LinkedIn using your content to train their AI. They need to pay us for that. So we want to have a nice profile photo, right? So you want to be smiling, you guys, because I'm going to tell you what I call it. I call it the 6-second scroll. You have 6 seconds to get someone to stop on your profile and take action. So profile photo, it's welcoming, it's nice, it's representative. You know, as women, I'm going to say this, as a woman, we age. And sometimes we have a photo that is years old. And then you go and you connect with someone on a Zoom call and you shock them. I'm just saying that from personal experience that I went and met somebody in person and their profile was so old, I walked right past them at the coffee shop. So let's all update our profiles. If it's been, I would say, over 2 years, get a new profile. And you know what? These cell phones work so great. Just take a snapshot. Just make sure you have the light coming at you and not from behind you. So profile photo, right? 6 seconds. The second thing is your background banner. Now, if you're not a graphic artist, I get it. That can be a little challenging. You can use Canva, you can hire someone to create one, but your background banner actually sends a message to people, right? It tells people, when I talk about that 6-second scroll, here's what you got: background banner, headline, photo. That's it. You've got three things in 6 seconds to sell someone to say, read more, connect, right? So background banner, it needs to be on brand for you guys. It needs to clearly communicate what it is you do, right? So it's not about, like, back in the day, Sylvia probably remembers, people would put as seen on this TV and got this award, right? People just loaded those background banners with all these award stuff, and it was very clunky. I also want to remind you that I think it's like 70% of people are accessing the apps on their phone. So when you update your profile, open up your phone. How does it look? So if you try to put too much text on your background banner because you're like, oh, I got to tell them that I do this, right? I'm an expert in this. I'm certified here. I've got this degree, or I've got this certification. It's just going to go like this, and it's not going to be clear and concise. So simple banner that's clear, concise, on brand with your brand colors, and tells your audience, the people that are scrolling by, what it is you do, how you might help them. And then your headline. Okay. So the headline that LinkedIn usually auto generates is your last position, right? So back in the day, I was an executive assistant. So if I don't change any of that, it will just stay there. I want you guys to think about your headline. What do you do? Who do you help? And what is the transformation? Sylvia, am I talking to business owners, career people, or a combo?
Business owners primarily.
Okay. You're my
like
people.
founders. Yep.
You're my people. I love you guys. Okay, founders, who do you work with? You don't work with everyone. When you have this large audience, your message isn't going to resonate with anyone. So as a founder, as a startup, are you working in, are you working with 40 to 60-year-olds? Are you working with professionals? Are you working with young adults? I'm working with someone who's she's a nurse. She's starting her own practice. And it's for the young adults, mental health. But she's not targeting those people on LinkedIn. She's targeting the parents. So who is your target audience? Figure that out. Embed that into your headline, how you help them. I have a great tool like Sylvia. I should maybe give you a demo of it. Anyone here know ChatGPT, right? You've heard of ChatGPT. I say that kind of jokingly. So I created some custom GPTs that is called a LinkedIn power headline and a LinkedIn personal branding to write it for you, because even as a LinkedIn person, right, this is what I do. But if there's something that you're doing over and over, like a side note onto AI as business owners, I could talk to you for all night. So as business owners, you want to start embedding AI now into your business to save yourself time. And if anyone's afraid of AI, I respect that. I want to honor that. But I am all people first. Sylvia knows me. I'm about connections. I'm about community. I'm about giving back. But AI is here to really help us with productivity and efficiency. So like sometimes you just got to shift your mind. So as you're building your business out, what do you love doing? That's on one side. What do you hate doing? It could be marketing. It could be email funnels. Like usually that's not why you start your business unless you're a content writer, right? You usually don't start your business and be like, I'm going to do social media. I'm going to write emails, landing pages, websites, right? That's usually the stuff that you want to outsource. And I see Tammy laughing, but right, because that's not the stuff why we start our business unless you're a content creator or a copywriter. Use AI to get that stuff done faster and honestly, probably better. And I'm just going to say that from personal experience. I'm dyslexic, so writing is not my first skill set that I would list. And Sylvia knows me. She'll like, Mary, there's a typo. I'm like, oh man, that was my dyslexic brain swapping words and stuff, right? So use it for what it was made for, to help us be more productive. And I have on my website, Sylvia, there is a free my top 10 AI tools. And
Okay,
there's
great.
a
I'll
list.
share with them. Yep.
Yeah, and there's a list of like 10 ways to use AI in your business, just to kind of, get you guys thinking about that. So back to LinkedIn, you have 6 seconds. An exercise that you should do is show your profile to someone and say, tell me what this person does. Tell me who this works, tell me, hey, I see you, William. Like, share it with a friend, like, hey, so what do you think this person does? And they should be able to tell you. And if they can't, that is a clear sign that you got to do some work on your LinkedIn, right? And as someone who wants to say, I do this, this, and this, and this, I know myself, I have to simplify, concise, clear, 6 seconds. So that is what's really important when we're talking about the profile. And also, just remember that it's all free real estate. I use the free version of LinkedIn. Sales Navigator is great, you guys. I get asked this question all the time, Sylvia. Oh, should I pay for it? Should I get Sales Navigator? You should only get Sales Navigator if you have the time to use it, because it is expensive and it works, but you literally have to have the time to use it or have someone do it for you. So everything that I teach, you can set up for free. You do not need to pay for LinkedIn. Second, you want to fill out everything on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn does have SEO built into it. So when you're filling out your experience section, you're describing the work that you do, right? I want you to be mindful of the SEO words that people might be searching for on LinkedIn. I want you to take the time and fill out the experience section. I don't want you to delete an old profile. I get asked this question all the time. Mary, I left corporate. I'm now a business owner. I'm going to delete my LinkedIn profile and start all over. That is a really bad idea, because you're showing a progression, right? You've had this journey, right? You have all this experience from your career, from your corporate days per se, and you might have a network build up. They might not be your ideal network right now, but at least you have one. So I never say delete that. Or some people say, I'm going to purge everyone, because that's when I worked at Bank of America and now I'm a health coach. That's just too much of your time, you guys. Just refinesse your new LinkedIn profile, make it on target, use the words that people are looking for, tell a story. So we're gonna jump over to what's working. You need a personal brand. You need to understand what a personal brand is. It's not what you do, it's more of who you are. What do you stand for? What is your brand? I can tell you that my brand is fun, informative, casual, conversational, right? That is who I am as a person, and that is how I deliver my training. I've got this fun side. I'm very casual and conversational, because I find the aha moments come to my clients, or come with my clients in those conversations, right? So think about your personal brand aside from what you do, right? I'm a certified AI consultant and LinkedIn trainer, but I'm also, what's really important is giving back to the community. My business has given back to Alzheimer's for 10 years. So that is important. Establish who you are as a person. And when it comes to your content on LinkedIn, personal content, Sylvia, is still doing really well.
Yeah.
Like, I laugh.
Personal branding.
I'll put something personal out and it will get, like 6,000 impressions or whatever. I'm like, huh, okay. And then I'll put a LinkedIn tip or an AI tip and not as much. So a couple things, you guys, don't let those numbers, what do I want to say? Discourage you. Okay. Because people will be watching you. And I just finished a client who met me in March. He wasn't ready then, but guess who he just reached out to in September to do 3 LinkedIn profiles? Me, top of mind, right? Top of mind, because I'm on there. So don't get discouraged. Be consistent. And that doesn't mean 5 days a week. As a matter of fact, all the LinkedIn experts right now are saying, don't post every day. I just have a lot to say, so I tend to post a lot, right? But they're actually saying, like, to slow the cadence down. So if you are not someone posting on LinkedIn right now, I would suggest twice a week. Just twice a week. Get into that rhythm, right? Twice a week. I also suggest, remember who you are. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. I can't know you if all you do is tell me that you're selling widgets for the best price. I need to know who you are, Amy, who you are. Is it Rahel?
Yeah.
Raheel?
For heel, for
Raheel?
heel. Yep.
Carlos, I like to call people out. It's just my thing, right? Tom, everyone without their cameras on, right? So who are you as a person?
Mhm.
So you need to, I call it the 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
80% is your business. 20% is who are you? Are you out networking, having fun? Are you giving back to the community? Right? Some people, Liam, he's a hot sauce guy. He loves hot sauce. And so he'll get a new collection of hot sauce and he'll post it. And you know what? Those posts do really good. And it's okay. You know why? Because you're building up your brand recognition. Those people are going to remember you later. I just rebranded into hot pink and aqua, which I was scared to do. I don't know why. But I get more comments on Silvia, on the silly photo shoot that I did. That thing like blew up. And that's
Yeah.
okay. Because you know what? They're looking at my profile. I'm bringing people in, right? So don't be afraid to share who you are, because that's when you're going to connect with your audience.
Well,
Um,
thank you, Mary. I know we only had like 15 minutes with you. You need to go off to your
oh,
appointment. So for
viral videos. One more thing.
well, yeah, that's right.
Going,
Viral videos. Yes, the
I'm
the
sorry.
insights and new
Like
stuff.
literally, I could talk for an hour on this. Okay. Whether you like to be on videos or not, when LinkedIn rolls out a new feature, jump on it. That's what I'm going to say. My friend jumped on the viral video. She was getting 200,000 impressions from her vertical videos on LinkedIn. They're like 60 seconds to 90 seconds. You need to have captions on them. You can use CapCut to do that. It's a tool that I use. It's pretty, if I can figure it out, anyone can figure it out, is what I say. But when something is rolling out on LinkedIn and they're saying, hey, we're rolling this out, we want you to try it. I want you guys to say, heck yeah, I'm going to try it, whether you like it or not, because they will push your content up because they want it to succeed. So that's a little side note that you won't know, right?
Yeah.
So do the little vertical videos on your cell phone, give tips, do a series, 5 tips for podcast growth. And then you can just have a couple every week.
Well,
I know
thank you,
that was a
Mary.
lot, right?
I know. I'm going to go into like the real estate of LinkedIn, and I know that you're the one who like knows LinkedIn and trains on it. So thank you for being with us for a little bit.
You're welcome. Okay, you guys, take care. Nice to meet
Thanks,
you. Connect
Mary.
with me on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Okay,
Thanks,
bye.
Mary. Bye. Mary is the one that I learned everything on LinkedIn. So I wanted to bring her on for 50. She only could go do 15 minutes. So I'm like, I'll take it, anything for all of you to get a little bit of her. I wanted her to talk about the insights, the vertical videos. And I find also that anything that LinkedIn brings out, let me just pin myself really quick because I'm getting, there we go. Anything that LinkedIn brings out that is something new, if you jump on it, she is completely right. It blows up. I did my newsletter as soon as I was allowed, and newsletters became a little bit more liked on on LinkedIn. That was about 2 years ago, and it just went super, super great. Like the people interacting with my newsletter was amazing. I did have to have the cadence of once a week for just the newsletter. And then of course, posting other things at the same time. But if you jump on something that's new on LinkedIn, their algorithm will love you and they'll put you up in feeds and stuff like that. So that's just like a little tip to do that. Let me just go back to my slideshow so that I don't get derailed on what I want to cover with you guys. So a little bit, that's Mary Fainbrandt, and that is, I'll put her LinkedIn after we kind of go through a couple things, but she just rebranded all of this information. So if you look at her profile, she'll have a lot more of the widgets and a little bit more of like the text piece that an expert would have. I always look at her profile to be like, okay, what do I need to add to mine? I consistently change my profile probably every 3 months. With something new, even though I'm posting daily, I still need to look at my profile in its entirety. And I usually go to Mary's and says, okay, how has she changed Does she have to have like more bullets or whatever? Because she's researching that. And then I can copy and make my profile a little bit better. So we all probably know why LinkedIn. It's a professional social network. It really builds a personal brand. I wanted to ask her, but I knew that she was off, is that your personal brand is equally as important than your company brand. So you are really probably in tune with your company brand, you know, your colors, you know, your themes, you know, your values of your company that you're growing. But how does that relate back to your personal brand? LinkedIn could be a really great place for you to grow that personal brand of you as a CEO, you as a co-founder or founder or COO, or whoever else is in this room. That is something that you can control. You can connect with the right people, and you can grow your thought leadership and whatever you are creating in your company. I think that's very, very important, because that's the only place, not only place, but professionally, really focused place that people see you as an individual, and then they see your company in their company profile. So that's just something to be aware of. It does aid for job searches and for you to find new talent for your startups. So a really easy way to do that. So, you know, about 87% of hiring pros look at LinkedIn. I know that most of you guys are entrepreneurs, so that doesn't really matter. But it's about 875 million members in more than 200 in countries. And this is about a year old. So want to make sure, like, that's probably like beyond these numbers. And also 50 million total job openings. For entrepreneurs out there, I know most of us are entrepreneurs. It's also that the talent is also on LinkedIn searching for new opportunities. So if you do post your position on LinkedIn, you get a higher quality person who's applying for the job that you have at hand. So a little bit about the anatomy of a profile. Mary alluded to a little bit, is show your progression. The more that you can show, like, this is who I am, this is how I've gone through my career, even if it's kind of all over the place. I am a lasagna of my career. So I like it that there's a progression, but as I'm speaking in every single one of my posts or speaking in my newsletter articles and all of that, I can control what the narrative is of the journey that I have been on. And whenever I actually talk about the journey, as Mary said, it actually jumps. I go from like about, you know, like 1,000 views to probably 20,000 views of a post, because it's something that's very like personal to me. I actually, even though it seems like it, I'm not an extrovert, I'm a total introvert, and I keep my personal life pretty separate than my public life. So I make sure that I control how that public eye sees me, but I am very authentic. I can be authentic and be like, look, this is what I'm dealing with. But I feel like those personal posts of how my career integrates with my personal life, or how it integrates with XYZ, are the posts that actually people love to interact with. And I keep, let's say, like, oh, my kid just graduated on Facebook, right? So that's how I differentiate that. Another thing that I wanted to kind of focus on is values. Is that I make sure, and I'll kind of show you my spreadsheet of my LinkedIn newsletter a little bit, so that you know kind of how you can actually integrate the values and what you're trying to do with a newsletter or all your marketing mix on LinkedIn. Is that I created a certain goals and values that I consistently talk about. So you're always going to hear from me that my highest value is integrity. My highest value is trust. Like familia is really important, not just familia of my family, my immediate family, but my community is super important to me. My other value is that I invest in people, not just money, but expertise and network. So investing in others, being a person who brings up and lifts people. A rising tide lifts all boats. Those are the values that I consistently talk about. So when somebody hears me, they're like, okay, she's all about that. You're going to hear that in my posts, in my shares, in my articles, and everything that I do. Okay, so let me just, I'll see if I can share this. I don't know where it is. So give me 1 second to call it up. Let me just give me a second to do this. Let's see. I knew that most of you guys probably want to see this, so that's why I was like, okay, here's my newsletter analytics. And I have to like do it by hand, because even though you get a little bit of the analytics from LinkedIn, you don't get all of it, but you'll see that these are my 6 goals that I want to do as a newsletter. So innovative trends, servant leadership in the startup world, funders, founders, and impact. So the founders is funding tips, mindset, structures, and founders biz goals. So here, right here, I say, okay, this is my cultivating a growth mindset. I know that I have, in January, likes, comments, reshares, views, and that's what you get from an analytics view from LinkedIn, the impressions, but I actually track the themes. So I do, okay, my main theme is number 3, that's funders, investment tips. My second theme is number 2, servant leadership. Okay, this one is 5, 6, 3, 5, 5, 6, a lot of 6s here, impact and inspo for a while, because that's more of like the lists that I have of 101 applications, of SDAC 9 to 27, then it's 30 Black women leaders. All of that is more inspiration, but I track them based on the themes that I have. I did a 10 article piece before Women's Venture Summit. So I was tracking all of them, tracking all what was going on. So that's how I really connect the values that I have with the goals that I want to go after and the articles that I'm posting. That's like one sliver of all the marketing that is being done by that I'm doing on LinkedIn. So any questions before we go into the anatomy of a LinkedIn profile? I'll stop talking here. Any questions that come up out of what we've talked about so far? Okay, I will go on then. Let's get back to this. So anatomy of a profile, I love this because looking at the real estate of LinkedIn, if you're looking at the profile as real estate, that every single piece on a LinkedIn profile is real estate, then you're kind of change your mindset of, should I change that? Should I not? Well, don't you want the front of your house to look awesome and have like a nice manicured, front lawn with a white picket fence or whatever you want, right? And everything inside each of those rooms, if you're kind of walking somebody through your dream home, which is your dream LinkedIn profile, you want it to look a certain way and to feel a certain way. So if you're thinking about that real estate, you think about it differently. So Mary alluded to this a little bit. You want to have the best headshot that you have because you want to communicate why you're doing business, right? So you might want to have it approachable, professional, creative, adaptable, and inclusive. Whatever those values are is what you want to portray. So I'm going to give you a lot of examples. I snapshotted all of them that I could, and I knew that I was talking to San Diego startups. So I don't think anybody on this call is in any of my examples, but I try to give you examples in San Diego or in SoCal. This is actually one of my alumni from Biola. She has a company called Milieu. It's for K-12 education. So obviously this is a beautiful picture of, this is their logo here. And this is the kit that they do. It's very K-12, but it's not like cutesy K-12. It's like, 2024 cutesy K-12. And you'll see here, she has this headliner that Mary was talking about, co-founder of Milieu, reimagining family quality time, previously at Nintendo, Quizlet, and GenGen. That was one of her companies that she created. So that's a do because she has a very nice headshot. Let me see if we can do some here and see if I can do the chat here. Okay, I can see the chat. Great. Give me some adjectives of just looking at her headshot. What do you think she is? What do you think that she cares about as a founder or as a seller of these K-12 boxes? Just put in the chat. What do you think she cares about? Yeah, fun. Thanks, Scott. Having fun. Yep. Education books in the back. Yep. Creating an easy environment. Love that, Tammy. Yep. She's doing actually workshops for teachers actually in San Diego to learn how to do social emotional learning within the classroom, and doing that for families to build bridges between generations. So you see how she's like crossing her arms, she's smiling, she has warm colors, it's not like in your face, and also showing a little bit about her company. If you had seen this also on digital, like let's say on your phone, on mobile, sorry, I'm like, what is that word, mobile, you'll see that she does not cover any of the logo that she has milieu. If you have your logo on the left hand side, it's going to be gone in mobile, or that in the regular form. This is on my computer, you can actually see her logo really well, which is like in the middle of the page. So that's just something to just be aware of. She created this, she took this picture on her phone. So very easy, but she was able to really signify what it is. Now, this is a don't down here of this person here is, I don't know who this person is, but this is just his picture with like some kind of medal and no background information. So if I decide as also entrepreneur scientist, there's no information here about like, is he a co-founder? Oh, and I was searching for founder or CEO. I was just put it in the search bar in LinkedIn that. So this is here's Innovation Labs pink and UC San Diego. And typically you'll see in a couple of other examples, if you do it right, you actually can see the logo of the company here instead of this background. And you can probably see UC San Diego logo here, but he did not link the two of them. How you link it is if you add a new experience, you have to click into the company in the drop down menu. If you don't do it, if you just type it in, it won't call it. So you want to call it in a drop down menu, click on the thing so that you know this is who it is and what the company is. So that's just like a little tip right there. You're welcome. So the do's and don'ts about be creative with the headlines is that just want to make sure I have this all here. Sorry, I'm moving everything around so I can see you. Be creative with the use of the headline. Do not use default job title. That was what Mary said right there, is that if you just default it, it will bring up to the top the title of your last experience. So use a robust headline, 120 to 215 characters. You do have that much. I always max it out of everything that I can say at the very top in a way that I like to say. So be creative, be specific, be catchy. So the do here, I gave you just this. I know this is not like super creative, entrepreneur and artist, but the reason why is I liked it is because it's clear and to the point, and he is an artist. He has a really nice piano thing here. He is a musician, and then it's a very nice picture of him, right? Very nice, very approachable. I love it. The do nots is here's like Wendy's. I don't know who these people are. I just picked, right? Founder and CEO of Booby, right? It's like, well, I see a picture of her with books. I don't see a header here, and I see Colson Health. So I'm completely confused at this point. What she does, who she is, what she does is she's an entrepreneur, she's a founder, but Booby, what is that? I don't even see it over here, and I don't see anything here to connotate what the company is. So the 6-second rule, I won't even connect with her, right? This is another one, Norman Huang, CTO of OmniSync here. It's like I see a great picture of him. He's up front, I like great smile, but again, I don't know what his company is, and there's no piece at the very top to show me what he does and how he does it. So, and you'll see also here, it's like, this is 400 connections, 247 and 492, with this one being like the most mutual connections, 38. So because of the 38, I might connect with him, I might not. But the 492 is nice that he has a good enough amount of network that I would want to connect with him, maybe. So that's kind of giving you that piece right there. So I want to give you these other examples of do's for different reasons, right? So of course, this is my portfolio company. So of course I love her, Debbie Chen. And she takes the approach of having founder, the separator CEO, inventor, scientist, advocate, speaker, and board member. And she has hydrostasis here of her company. And Tufts University is where one of her educations. So really great, like first look, and she cares about San Diego. She has this look of San Diego and the picture of the ocean. So of course it's hydrostasis, it's water. I like the picture. I want to connect with her. Of course, everybody should know who Fred Greer is. He is a journalist here in San Diego, one of my former students at UCSD. So I'm really proud of everything that he's done since being a student with me so many years ago. But love that he represents San Diego. He cares and journals about San Diego. So of course, he's going to have a San Diego picture right here. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be super, super branded. It just has to be connected with your ideals, your values, and all that. Very good picture of him being very open. He wants to connect with people. He has 9,000 followers and 500 plus connections, and we have 900 mutual connections. So of course, I'm connected with him. He of course he was a student, so love everything he's doing. And then here it's he's connected to University of San Diego. That's another awesome point. Being at the Brink SBDC, being housed at University of San Diego, you want to connect the dots with the different aspects that you have in your career and in your company, so that people are like, oh, USD, I want to connect with them. Again, 6 seconds. We're just looking at the top piece of LinkedIn. We haven't even touched the bottom parts. Do you see how you can get so much out of the top pieces? And then I'll give you these 3 other do's right here. Is Melinda here, really great photo, a little farther behind. So you'll see that some of them were, just the headshot. This is farther behind. You don't see her face as well, which is fine. That is her option of doing that. This is your personal branding. She wants to be relatable. The other tip here that I wanted to put here is anytime you see hands in any picture, it's actually more relatable. If you want to lean in a little bit, there's data around seeing a hand in any photo or video. You want to engage more. So that's why you see a lot of the TV and anybody who's doing video, they're up here using their hands so that they can use that for their advantage. This is her company here, and obviously here is her logo in the top. Heather Lawver is a founder who just went through Women's Venture Summit as a finalist. Love how she actually put her, let's say, 30-second pitch at the very top instead of her saying, I'm CEO and founder of. She says, turning 170 million raised into the future of a startup marketing, automating data-backed brands and compelling pitch decks with legally protectable AI. That is her value prop for her company, and her company is Simo.ai. So 6 seconds, you know exactly what she's doing. You know exactly her company. You have the logo right there. You're going to recognize her anywhere you go. I added, oh yeah. So great, Scott. I will do that answer right now. And then Elizabeth down here, I just added her just because I love just the color coordination. You just are feeling awesome when you see this, right? You see the purple, you see the oranges and purples. It's like super aesthetically pleasing. I love it, right? I'm like, and what does she do? She's probably a marketer, or she has a good marketing person, right? So you're going to scroll down to learn more. Scott asked thoughts on titles next to name. So like your meaning here, none of them have the title, but let's say see the one before, I think had a title. Co-founder and CTO OmniSync, Debbie's, yeah. So title meaning the PhD, Scott? Oh, yeah. It depends on you, what you want to do. I know Debbie and I have talked about this, is that it's well, Scott and I got our PhD together, so just putting it out there. So awesome. But I prefer putting comma PhD, comma MBA, because Dr. Silvia Ma might be an MD, right? Is like, I don't want somebody to think that I'm an MD. So I usually say Silvia Ma, comma, PhD, comma, MBA. But when I'm on camera, let's say on TV, I always say, please say Dr. Silvia Ma. So that's just a little bit of a difference. If I'm on video and it's in a short, I'm not going to be like, and I'm Silvia Ma, PhD and MBA. I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say Dr. Silvia Ma. But on LinkedIn, I do say comma PhD, comma MBA, just because it should be on your title. I feel like it should. I've asked Mary and she says to keep it there. My PR person says I should always say Dr. Silvia Ma. So take it as a grain of salt there. Okay, I want to move on. We're running out of time. So purposeful background image, we've kind of gone through that a little bit. One thing I wanted to cover here is color. Color can like have somebody lean in or lean out, right? So I gave you two examples here. Sorry that I'm using a student. I teach at Biola University. So I loved how Abigail uses this. She's a student here. She uses just a color in her background, but it matches her headshot. So you feel like, I love looking at this profile, and she's a marketing person. Oh, she knows color design. Let me bring her in and hire her. See how that just allows me to quickly, 6 seconds. I have an opinion about what she can bring to my company if I'm going to hire her. She has it here, her university, Biola University Kroll School of Business, and she's off to the races. I gave you an example here of a founder, great picture. I don't really see who she is. The picture doesn't show that, but Washington Post in the background because she speaks. Maybe that's what she's trying to connotate. That's okay. It's what you want to do. And then this is her book, and I love that it is over to the right hand side, because then if she's over there to the left, it's going to get muddled. It's going to be covered up by her headshot. So you just want to be careful on that, and that this is her book that she's doing. And then do not do this, right? Is no picture HDV, like who is this person? If I saw that, I would be very, very scared about connecting with this person. I don't know first name, last name. I know there's cultural differences, but give me something else so that I can reference you accordingly and be respectful of who you are and what you've done in your life. And then of course, founder and CEO of InMaps. I love that. I do love that it shows the logo here of the startup and where he had his education. So there is good in this profile part, but very stark. And if that's okay, if that's your values, great, do it all day long. But this doesn't do much for me. And then I wanted to kind of go back to colors. Is blues and greens are calming. If you know the color wheel, go to the color wheel, Google it up. Red is decisive, or that it's like also in your face. So it depends on how you want to have that value. Dark blue is professional. Light pink is warmth. So look at the different colors that you have in your logo. What are the different hues that you can use so that you can communicate the values and what you want to put out there to your network. So next up is, so use name pronunciation audio clip. I get this question a lot this is my profile. And again, mine is on the top right. The reason why I use my, the picture of San Diego and of the shoreline is because I do care deeply about San Diego, but I do a ton of different things. So that's a little bit of anchoring me to San Diego while I do so many things nationwide, and I really care about impact and integrity. So I just say be the impact. Let's do it like that. Very simple. I haven't changed it. I did change it ever so often whenever, let's say I started at USD, I changed it to a USD beautiful photo so that people know, oh, there's something different about what she's doing. So, and then I wanted to say this right here. I get a lot of like, how do you say it? Is ma, like, why does it say Armitano? Like all of those things, the little audio, if you click on that, I just say it out loud, Silvia Armitano Ma. So just in case people do want to put my middle name in there, they're like, how do you guys say that? And then I do the same thing Debbie does with the up and down, like separators. I'm a little bit more of a scientist, so I like the demarcation because I do so many different things. Again, I want to meet with Mary in the next couple of months to make sure that, am I doing it, like, how is the algorithm, doing? Do they like this way or do they not? I will change with the times, but I actually prefer this, right? So that's that. Okay, so I wanted to bring it out to everybody here. These two, let's look at these two. What does Sarah, like Sarah right here, she has the demarcations. And she has a really nice piece right here. What I did like also is here, I hold a bachelor's degree in neurobiology from the University of California, San Diego, blending 2 years of hands-on wet lab research with 9 years deeply engaged in scientific communications, my journey, blah, 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 right? Over here you have Matt, Lawmatics, and I'm a serial entrepreneur and lawyer who has an extraordinary passion for building products and solving problems with the use of software. I'm the founder and former CEO of MyCase, one of the biggest practice management companies in the legal space. That's a little bit different of an about section, right? And wanted to get your guys' feedback on these two. Out of what you learned right now and what you know about LinkedIn, what would you give some feedback? If you want to raise your hand or put in the chat, I'm cool. Anybody? Okay, science communicator landed as a confusing term. Okay, that's great. That would be like scientific communication. For example, this, if you maybe have a big word like that, you want to maybe define it if you're doing an about. If you do have a confusing, let's say, industry that you're working on, you could use all of your postings to actually create what you want people to get out of it. Okay. And Matt seems more me oriented. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I thought it was more of like, this is who I am. I'm bringing this to the world too. So that's great that Amy, you felt that way. It's, you have to think about who is your customer? Like Mary said, who's your customer? And if they land on your site, will they be drawn in to make the sale or to make the relationship with you or to make the next partnership occur? So think about your customers as well. Thank you for all this. Sarah is down to earth and Matt comes across as someone who's bragging. Okay, great. Carlos, who you are versus who you help. Correct. And that's something that you can make that decision. It's not a yes or no, good or bad. It's you need to, I love LinkedIn because it gives you control over what you put out there in the world. So who you are, okay. Oh, should the about should be written in the first person? Yeah, I usually do it as a first person. I would love to have Mary back on to see like what are the trends now. It's always trending. Third person, first person, third person, first person. So I know in bios, when I send it to conferences and all that needs to be in third person. Dr. Silvia Ma is a blah, 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 blah. So it depends. Like sometimes when I'm doing a lot of speaking, I actually change my about a little bit, just a little bit at the very top. And then I say my bio, like my short bio, I just put it right there just in case they don't get it from me or they're like, where's her shorter bio? They can just go straight in the about and find it quickly. So it depends on what you're doing also in your company. So great question, Tom. Thank you so much. So thanks for putting that all in the chat. Yeah, what about this also? So this is Mary's LinkedIn. And if you want to just put in the chat what you think about both of these, I wanted to just walk through this Mary's piece. Again, she's on the left-hand side, nothing's on the left, everything's on the right. And what I love about this piece is she does do a lot here in the header, and she probably maxes out the total amount of characters that you need in the header. So she wants to make sure that that's way up the top. Her logo is here. This is her company, and she went to Chapman. And down here, I love it. Did you know that a whopping 80% of B2B leads from social media are generated through LinkedIn? It's a gold mine of opportunities. She obviously trains on this, right? And then she has right here, a piece here, top skills, LinkedIn training, optimization. You see, I need to tell her that there needs to be an I. I always like send her things. I'm like, oh, spelling and stuff like that, because we care so much about each other. So really great here about very clear what she does, how she transforms people, what she is good at, what she can bring to you. And of course, like this is very branded up here, which is great. You can have it super branded, or like Eric does here, is that his company Vortexon in Industries. They are developing space tech that takes humanity interplanetary. So obviously he's going to have more of a visionary. He's the founder and CEO of this astronaut in space. So that is his perspective of what he's bringing to the world. And I love that as well. Again, the logo is here. Everything looks really great. I am a huge believer in on-the-job training and self-taught skills or hobbies. I just love how he puts himself there. And I'm like, oh, I want to connect with him. I want to know more about him. So that's that. And I'll go back. We have about 9 more minutes. And LinkedIn real estate is key. You want to have the great profile description, the featured sections. I'll go into that one more example, posts versus articles. You want to have a good marketing mix of different things, posts and articles and reshares. Whenever you reshare, I always love whenever you put a thought in there. You know, you can reshare without a thought, or you can reshare with a thought from the perspective of somebody who shares. And I want people to reshare. I want their thoughts because that actually adds to the algorithm. It helps the algorithm to reach more people, and I can actually track it better with analytics. So if you're going to reshare something of mine, please add a thought. And for anybody that you're resharing, really nice to have a thought up there. Okay, and the volunteer experience. Mary was talking a little bit about how showcasing where you volunteer. Where you have the volunteer experience at the very bottom, it's nice to add what are the things that you're doing. As whenever I'm hiring my students for my teams every year, I actually look down at their volunteer experience to see their heart and their values are right there. If they don't have any there, they're like, what are they probably are volunteering, but if it's publicly noted, I'm liking it. And I will actually have a conversation there. When I'm actually doing due diligence with founders to get to invest in them, I will ask what their volunteer positions are. What are they doing in the community? And I also go down to the bottom of their LinkedIn as I'm doing the due diligence process of the founder and their teammates and their board members. That's just what I do as an investor. I go all the way down. Okay, the featured section, a little bit, and this is this piece right here, featured. You can actually feature a post, an article, whatever you need, but you can control what people scroll down to and see right away. So I love how we see he's from Stanford, and a partner, an investor, and an entrepreneur. He's really wanting founding team mode. Here it's gave a lecture at Stanford, presented at Fortune 200. What does he want you to know? He lectures at Stanford. He is amazing at being able to talk at Fortune 200, right? Really exciting stuff. 7-Eleven, Teresa Bauer. Of course, I don't know, some of them I don't know, right? But I love that she has features here as honor of Black History Month and celebration of Women's History Month. Super important she's the Chief Human Resources Officer at 7-Eleven. She cares about HR. She cares about humans and community and culture. Amazing. Obviously, when you see that, you're like, oh, yeah, that totally makes sense. And her about section is very tiny, and that's okay because she's HR at 7-Eleven. So really exciting to see the different profiles and see what you can glean from there. Okay, we've kind of gone through this a little bit. Features. This is a little bit more of students. A little bit also of like, this is Kaylee. She's a filmmaker in LA. At Biola, we have a lot of like filmmaking majors and new entrepreneurs. Even if you have an eclectic view of what your cinematography, or let's say whatever, let's say you're a musician, Raheel, I'm thinking about you, musician and an entrepreneur and an investor, you can put in the feature section a couple of different things that the total is 3 before it starts scrolling. I think that you saw it here, like this scroll right here. So you have 3 and then you need to scroll. So those first 3 are very important, or you only have 2. I always am about maxing out the real estate, right? So he maxed out his real estate up here. He maxed out his real estate here and about. He maxed out the real estate on the feature page so that he controls what people see in the first 3 seconds. That's so important on LinkedIn. So that's the dues. A couple of these other ones, I have like only 5 more minutes. I like this one, even though, again, this is a student. This is actually, this is Isaiah. This is his design that he did as an interactive media student. So I love that he actually put his art up there. He put his creativity as the header. Like brilliant. I love that. And he has these the link of his portfolio and stuff like that. Sabine Gideon, I love her to death. And she's really good. She's an author and an influencer and a coach. And again, she has a really great branded piece here. You see how Book Me for Speaking is right there where her headshot is. She's tested, I know, on the computer and mobile to make sure that it shows up that way. She has a great header up here. And then the services are right here. You see how these are in bold, and then her featured pieces here. This one I used because I think that, you know, even though she does not have a picture here, I loved how she did use her feature pages. And I think that that allows me to think about her more like she's a professional. She knows what she's doing. She's connecting with people. She's a great leader. Would love to have her have something up here. Okay, and that's it. That's all that I have for this. I have some chat things here. Okay, so questions here. Yeah, love the talk with Mary. Yes. Tom, you said, what are the best practices for how dense your paragraphs should be? Eric and Mary have different densities. Yeah. So you'll see if you go on Mary's LinkedIn, she does a lot of like bullets and bold and different like texts. I don't have the patience for that. But I know it's good of the way that people can stop. So I'll do one thing also here. I'm going to try to get up mine. You want people to stop scrolling through LinkedIn. So if you can stop people from scrolling because your paragraph is a little bit different, your paragraph has things to stop at, that also is really important. So I'll just go through mine because I know my methodology of why I've created what I did. But so this is my services and this is what I do. And the about is different. So I think this is still my bio, just because I talk so many different places. But what's important is I don't want people to go like past. So if you're right here at Biola, I don't want you to go past. So I actually add an image here so that you stop. And I add an image here so that you stop scrolling. You're like, oh, minor in entrepreneurship. That's cool. Okay, author, stop. Stop. Advisor, I want them to stop here. This is the team site for the Brink SBDC. So I want them to stop all the time and see what I'm wanting them to see. And that's one way in that the question that you had about the about page is that probably I should meet with Mary and make sure that this is correct, that I should probably do some bullets and all that, but I'm not having people stop, but I know why I'm doing this because this is my bio, right? I want them to just grab it from there. So let me see if there's any more questions in the last minute. So focus on the goals. Yeah. Yes. So Carlos, great. Focus on your goals. Correct. Know your audience of why you're doing what you're doing. Cause everybody's going to be a little bit off. The algorithm is always going to change. And what you want out of LinkedIn, build the trust and credibility by posting authentically, by knowing your customers and find potential customers, create opportunities of collaboration. Correct. You want to connect with the right people so that you can collaborate. And when they do connect, they want to come back to you over and over again because you are the thought leader, because you are providing them with value on a consistent basis. So yes, Carlos, I'm going to take your thing right there. That's great. Carlos is the best seller out there. He took our LES class. I mean, every single time he spoke, I'm like, you are the sales guru, dude. I love Carlos. So great. Oh yeah. And Stephen put there, if you're not already a client, please become a client at SBDC. We have an incredible network of advisors and would love to work with you. Thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome, everybody. So hopefully this was good. We're going to end right at 5 o'clock. Excited to have everybody here. You learn so much from different people's profiles. So check them out. Everybody does them a little bit differently, but these are the best practices that I've seen that work really well. So wonderful job, everybody. Thanks for being here. See you guys later.
Thank you, Sylvia. Appreciate you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.